Just waiting for the green light.
We're thinking of covering the O&M squad, like, second half of the game.
Hello and welcome to the WJ Finlay Oval in Wangaratta, home of the Wangaratta Rovers, for another edition of O&M Live netball coverage. My name's Gus McLeod. Great to have your company. We're doing it thanks to McRae Motors, proud sponsors of the SSNA Ovens and Murray, and of course us here at O&M Live. Ree Henty's back for another week. Hello, Ree.
Hello, and I've gone all out and bought some new boots, thinking, preempting the 50 mils of rain, and it's sunshine and just a little bit of wind, so perfect day for netball.
Hannah Davies joins us once again, and the text message I got from Hannah this morning was, will they still play in the rain? And you've managed to scare the rain away.
I know. I've brought the Brisbane weather with me, clearly. I'm very happy to see the sun out. I was kind of hoping that, you know, if it rained, it'd just get called off, but not in the country, apparently.
No, we're bred tough down here. It's only thunderstorms, and if it's deemed unsafe, which thankfully Rovers have got this beautiful new court that they had installed a couple of years ago, so makes for a bit better conditions as well had it been wet, but we'll pray that the rain stays away for at least the next hour and a half.
What is the ideal netball conditions, Ree? Is this it?
Probably just a little bit less wind, although it depends which way the wind's going, but about probably 23, 25 degrees, warm enough that you get a sweat up, but cool enough that, well, when you're standing under the goals waiting at goalkeeper for the ball to come down, you can get a little bit of respite. So, yeah, about between probably 23, 25 degrees, a little bit of cloud cover so the sun's out of your eyes, perfect. So pretty pristine today.
I think you've just summed up what we're experiencing today here in Wangaratta. Of course, it is the Rovers taking on Yarrawonga. The first time we've seen Yarrawonga this year, Ree, with O&M Live netball, and only disappointing note to it is there's a couple of their star players out, but we're going to get a really good look at what the Pigeons squad's made of in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to it. We've spoken, Hannah and I were just speaking a little bit off air, and they've had some really big wins, and then obviously the noticeable loss to Lavi, a couple of weeks ago. Sarah Sanini isn't available today with injury, so not an ankle, but a little bit of a calf injury there. So I hope Robbie's listening to that one. So we're hoping that Sayers has a speedy recovery, but service still in their goal shooting and well by Bridget Cassar. And I also mentioned to Hannah, but between Bridget Cassar, Laura Irvine, Annalise Grinter and Kylie Leslie, only 4 of probably their starting 7. There's probably over 1,000 O&M games between them. So plenty of experience, but I'm really looking forward to see what the likes of Laura Ryan, who's come across from Tatura in the Golden Valley League, brings to them defensive midcourt, and also Maddie Allen, speaking to her off air as well. She's come from the Geelong League. So interested to see how they slot into an already pretty well experienced and well drilled Yarrawonga.
Absolutely well said. Of course, the second week in a row we see the Wangaratta Rovers, Hannah, and we saw some really good glimpses from them last week. They just couldn't put together a 4-quarter performance.
Yeah, we did. I think notably for them, you'll find out, so in their starting 7 is probably their best combination that they had last week. They kind of started to gel in that 4th quarter, and I think for them it's about putting out that full 60 minutes and making sure that every player just grinds it out, especially against a really experienced team like Yarrawonga today.
Yeah, well said. Ree, talk us through some of the matchups we might see on court today. Of course, Sarah Sanini is the noticeable out for Yarrawonga, which is probably of relief to Joe Creswell and the Rovers, but there's still a lot of youth and experience for Yarrawonga. How's it going to match up against the Rovers?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Bridget Cassar obviously up against Jenna McLeod in that goal shooter, goalkeeper tussle. I think that'll be really important, particularly for Jenna, if she can get in front of Bridget and take a few quick little 1%ers, even if it's a tap, just to get them off rhythm and make them take an extra pass or an extra step onto the ball. I think they might be able to create a few turnovers. I think Michaela Trethowan in wing defence against the likes of probably Maddie Allen or even Abby Jones might run out in wing attack. I think that's going to be great. We saw the impact that Michaela had when she came on the court in that wing defence position, and her transition bringing the ball down the court is really exceptional. So I think that will be a key matchup as well. So interesting, and looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
And speaking of, we might as well cast our eyes over the starting 7 and the squads for each game. Hannah will kick things off with, of course, the Yarrawonga Pigeons.
So in goal shooter we have Sammy Krelchem. Goal attack is Kelsey Wilson. Wing attack Gracie Reid. Centre Bryony Simpson. Wing defence Michaela Trethowan. Janelle Mills in goal defence and Jenna McLeod in goalkeeper. And for the Yarrawonga Pigeons we have Bridget Cassar in goal shooter. Maddie Allen goal attack. Jetta Nolan wing attack. Laura Irvine in centre. Laura Ryan wing defence and Kylie Leslie in goal defence, with Annalise Grinter in goalkeeper.
So good test today for the Pigeons, to test their depth as a squad and potentially see some of these B-grade girls that have been playing a lot for the club work their way into some A-grade netball.
And when you've got people on the Yarrawonga bench, notably Hannah Symes and Abby Jones, both long-time A-grade players. Hannah's coming back from having a baby during last season. Abby's returning to the club after a year or two elsewhere. Obviously, one of those years was COVID. So that's a very, very experienced bench. So their injection at some point in the game, I think, will come, and a credit to them. And we talk a lot about Yarra's depth, and there's an example of it.
Absolutely. Hannah will cast her eye over the Rovers now.
The Rovers lineup.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, look, they're a much younger side, also notably smaller too. I think the Pigeons have a lot of height and a lot of depth, but I think, they're winless in the season so far, so there's got to be that fire in their belly to get that first win.
Yeah, and chatting to Jenna McLeod pre-game, she noticed that in her goalkeeper role, she's only 5'9", and every shooter she's played against so far this season is over 6 foot. So she said that is that example of height, but what they probably lack in height, they do make up for in speed and agility. So I think we saw them with a lot of the ball last week. So they'll be looking to convert the ball a lot more accurately.
You caught up with, of course, Jenna McLeod, who plays her 100th A-grade game today. We'll try and play that audio at the halftime break. What's the vibe amongst the Rovers celebrating such a big milestone today?
Yeah, Jenna said actually had it not been COVID, this would have happened 2 years ago. So that's always long. That's what she said. It's been a long time coming, but she said the vibe around the club is really, really great. I'm sure, as we saw last week with Ange DeMamiel's 200th, that the Wangaratta Rovers will celebrate Jenna just as well, and we'll have a little bit of a ceremony before the game, I assume. But yeah, she said, vibe's really great. She said Joe Creswell brings a real professionalism to the club, which is really, really sensational. She said always planning on the front foot with those sorts of things. So hopefully, as the season continues to progress and they get a little bit more continuity with those 7, that the wins and the wins of quarters, probably aiming to get that full 60 seconds will come, and then that will end goal is to get those wins on the board and perhaps to creep up into that 6th or 5th position.
We're about 3 minutes away from commencing our A-grade O&M Live netball match of the day between the Yarrawonga Pigeons and the Wangaratta Rovers. Ladies, how's this game going to play out today?
Look, I think Yarrawonga will probably take this one away today. I think that experience is something you can't really go past in netball, not just in finals when those really tight moments come, but throughout the season. I think they're just going to be really consistent and reliable. But like I said before, I think the Rovers, they need the win if they want their season to keep going, and I think we need to see that on court today.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a win today to celebrate Jenna's 100th A-grade game would be sensational. She said she came to the club in 2015, so that's a really long time to be at a club, obviously 100 games, which is fantastic. So I think I'm going to tip Yarra by 10 goals today.
I'll go Yarra by 15.
Well, Hannah's been bang on every time, so I'm going to go 14 for the Yarrawonga Pigeons today as the players line up mid-court. Now, I think the president, Wally Pasquale, is going to say a few words and pay some homage to an absolute legend of the Wangaratta Rovers football, netball club. And what I'm really liking to see about the Rovers netball side of things, and across the last sort of year or so, is they're really becoming that one club feel. The footballers are really starting to integrate with the netballers, and they've really got a really good culture building here at the Rovers.
Yeah, definitely. And over the last few years, they've kind of come to be a bit more competitive come the second half of the season and pushing towards that final spot, which I think as a club is all that you're working towards, is to hit that top 5, because anything can happen. So I think for the girls across all grades, their under 17s for the last few years has been really strong. So breeding some of those youth into those senior teams and really becoming competitive is a big goal for them.
Absolutely, well said. Wally Pasquale is paying a nice little speech. Unfortunately, we can't quite get the microphone down there this afternoon, but of course, Jenna McLeod playing her 100th A-grade game for the Rovers today. Not too far away from starting the action here on O&M Live Netball, thanks to McRae Motors. Ladies, before we get started, cracking interleague side announced overnight. We'll touch on that throughout the broadcast as well. But when you see some of the names listed for the Ovens and May representative side, it really does give you a real sense of excitement and buzz about what the interleague side could look like this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that interleague, obviously we've got the interleague bye, and playing against the Goulburn Valley League from experience, when we end up down at the association champs in Melbourne, it's always a really great matchup. I believe that the best of our competition and the best of the GVL really match up really well. So the squad is great, and we see most clubs represented, and there's a really nice mix of youth and experience, and I guess it also comes down to who is available for that weekend. But it'll be great to see, and it's nice to see a few of these girls out on court today. The likes of Sammy Krelsham and Gracie Reid running through the wing attack there for the Wangaratta Rovers, and Laura Ryan and Tilly Kennedy, who's unavailable today. So it'll be great to see what they can bring to that interleague squad and the experience with that.
It's definitely going to be very competitive to get into that starting 7 for that team.
Yeah, well said, Ree and Hannah. Not too far away from the first quarter. Getting underway here on O&M Live Netball. Thanks to Urban Greys, it's the Pigeons and the Rovers with Gus McLeod, Hannah Davies and Ree Dollarhenty. You're watching to O&M Live.
Yarrawonga start with the ball in hand, and already an incredibly quick transition into that circle. Irvine, player out of play, into Casa. An early miss there, but a good tussle for the rebound. And Rovers come away with the first win.
Great to see Janelle Mills in the action really early. She and Jenna McLeod combined really well in that defensive circle, as we see Wangaratta Rovers bring the ball down middle of their attacking third.
So Krelsham already moving around the circle. Previous round, but she is definitely one of the shortest goal shooters in this comp, but she definitely makes up for it with her movement and agility. And a beautiful pass into Kelsey Wilson. So some early nerves from both ends in the shooting circle. And a long range shot there from Krelsham, so she'll pass off. Wilson keeps it in. Great hustle there from the Rovers girls to get the first goal, and it's their centre pass next.
A nice little settle there, and well done to Kelsey Wilson to keep that ball in court as she was falling out of court, and well done to Sammy Krelsham for getting in position for that ball, as we see them just a little bit too much pepper on that one, with the Yarrawonga Pinges now having the chance at a defensive throw-in, which, quick turnover by the Rovers already.
And those are those 1%ers that I spoke about before the game. If the Rovers can really keep that up and just push for those little extra turnovers and, keeping the ball in like Wilson just did, they're really going to stay in the game today.
Absolutely.
O&M Live Netball, first quarter action thanks to Urban Greys, the Pigeons and the Wangaratta Rovers. And the Rovers have started with a lot of spark and energy in this first quarter.
Yeah, I think that input of Sammy Krelsham in that goal shooter really needed to happen. That's just a little bit more of a calm head experience in that goal circle, which we're already seeing, just to really help the youth that is Kelsey Wilson in that goal attack role.
So Krelsham lines up another. Yarrawonga almost got the rebound, probably needed a bit more fight for that one. Thought Leslie could have had it.
And a great finish there from Kelsey Wilson. But yeah, absolutely. I think Wang Rovers have really set out with the intensity to start this game, as we see Michaela Trouthowen coming up with the goods with a breaking call there, I think, from Jetta Nolan. So putting the pressure on that centre pass to really make the wing attack have to break before the whistle.
On the Cavalier home scoreboard, the Rovers have started hot. They lead 2-0, and they're going to have a chance at another attacking play, Hannah.
So Wilson lines up mid-range shot, but trickles out of the court.
What I liked then with Kelsey Wilson, she actually held front position. She was holding really strong, so it made Kylie Leslie's job to get around her really hard. So hopefully we see a little bit more of that out of Kelsey as the game progresses.
So Grinter to Leslie. Irvine brings the ball in. Looks a little stuck for options there in that centre third. And the ball just flies out. Probably need a little bit more composure from Yarrawonga. Probably wasn't expecting such the fiery start from the Rovers.
And we spoke about Michaela Trouthowen in the pre-game, just about her ability to transition the ball, and we saw it again there, but it was her defensive pressure that forced that ball out of court. So big game for her.
As the Rovers drain another one on the Urban Grey scoreboard. They lead 3 goals to zip, and right in front of us I've noticed a nice little touch, and I'm sure Trav will pick up on it shortly. There's a congratulations Jenna sign behind the goals, and I reckon right on cue Travis Cartwright, the best cameraman in the O&M, is going to pick that one up. Absolutely beautiful touch from the Rovers today.
Yeah, they'll be a little bit disappointed. They had all the time in the world then, and just the timing and the communication was out. So the ball, probably Sammy led a little bit too early and then had to relead, but by that time the ball had spilt over the edge. So they'll be looking to just really make sure of those little 1% plays.
So Yarrawonga score their first on the Urban Grey scoreboard. They lead 3 goals to 1, the home side.
And another break from Yarrawonga, which is not the start they need. Wilson working really hard to keep the ball in hand, but Yarrawonga will come away.
And I love those in the mid-court when it's goal attack versus goal attack. It's that really defensive pressure from the attackers, which we talk about, that every player is a defender. So really nice to see that tussle in the mid-court.
Yeah, and I think that's something that the Rovers were probably missing a little bit last week. They were playing their first role well, but their second role in, defending when they want the turnover from the attackers just wasn't there, but it seems like it is this week.
Yeah, definitely. And as we see Laura Irvine, another, again, defensive effort. She'll come off the play now. She's working out what Bryony Simpson's doing in that centre court role. So I think she'll aim to play off her a little bit and really take up the space that Gracie Reid's looking to hit that circle with. As we see the Pigeons just working the ball around into their goal circle with Bridget Casa holding strong against Jenna McLeod.
So far, a very, very close first quarter for Urban Greys. Probably not as strong of a performance from Yarrawonga in the first few minutes as we were thinking.
A few uncharacteristic errors, I think, but they're just finding their feet. Maddie Allen, this is only probably her second game for the Yarrawonga Pigeons, so she's probably working out the lay of the land as well, but starting to find a little bit of good movement in there with Bridget Casa.
So Yarrawonga hit the lead on the Cavalier home scoreboard, 4-3, and we've played just under 6 minutes on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
So really interesting there. Rovers got the first 3, and then Yarrawonga just got 3 in a row as well. So we could see a lot of ebb and flow in this game.
And a nice pick up there from Annalise Grinter. That could come under one of our 3-day lanes. Highlight of the day, again, falling out of court, but getting it back to Kylie Leslie.
Yarrawonga fighting really hard to get the ball into the circle as soon as they can. Allen will pass off to Casa. She's been really strong under the post so far.
And definitely a strength of Bridget's game has always been her strength and dominance in that circle. So I think if Jenna can try and keep her moving a little bit and really get off the body so that she isn't forced out of play, so she can pressure the shot and then be there for any rebounds.
Just on cue, she has a crack there, but Casa, the positioning was just too good. And under the post, she'll go for another one.
And converts on the Cavalier home scoreboard. Yarrawonga extend the margin to 3 goals, and the Rovers got to try and consolidate a bit here, Ree, to bring back that hot start.
Yeah, and unfortunately that centre pass didn't go their way, but there's another 3D lanes highlight of the day. Michaela Trethowan, she's already been in everything, but I think just the placement of the ball then from Bryony Simpson to Maddie Reid was just a little bit late, so it went behind the player. So we just need to put it out in front of those Yarrawonga arms.
And that matchup of Trethowan against Jenna Nolan is going to be so electric throughout today. I think Trethowan in particular has a lot of fitness. We do know she does play AFL as well, so it's probably unlikely that we'll see her drop in that intensity throughout the game. So for Nolan, that's something she'll have to step up to as well. Great pull in there from Allen. Finishes off another for Yarrawonga.
And a nice settling play there from Yarrawonga, taking them to the lead in 8 goals to 3.
Ree Dollar-Henty's expert comments on O&M Live, thanks to Insight Injury Clinic. If you just joined the broadcast, it's the Rovers and the Pigeons on O&M Live Netball. The Rovers 3, the Pigeons 8, and that's on the Cavalier home scoreboard. And a turnover as Yarrawonga intercept.
And unfortunate there for Rovers because they had a 2-against-1 in the circle, but Laura Irvine hand over pressure over the Maddie Reid in wing attack was really sensational. So we see the Rovers bring the ball down, working to get it into their goal circle.
I think the Rovers just need more players to come in front. We can see Simpson there. As soon as she had the the front space. It was really evident to her teammates, but they're getting a little bit stuck behind the Yarrawonga defenders.
And right on cue, in front play there. So Maddie Reid had all the space in the world going into the pocket, and Sammy Krelsham just took that drive straight down the baseline to get that ball and convert the goal.
So Rovers at it again. Like we said, it's incredibly ebb and flow. I feel like when one team gets on a roll, they just really drive it home, and a beautiful pass in there from Krelsham.
Precision, we see there was probably a centimetre to the baseline there, and a great take from Kelsey Wilson, and a really nice shot put up by her. So something that we spoke about last week that probably she would have been disappointed was her accuracy in conversion. I think she had a lot of the ball, but hopefully she's actually gained a lot of confidence from that, knowing she can get the ball. It's just a matter of putting that shot up and then working for the rebound.
An unfortunate pass astray there from Reid. So the Pigeons are moving it down. Irvine goes to Nolan. Allen comes out. And you're exactly right, Ree, in that McLeod is forcing Casa to move around a lot. And you can see that when she's moving, Yarrawonga are actually finding it a lot harder to get it into her. She's almost been completely shut out right now by McLeod.
And that was a really great example too, because Jenna took Bridget out of the circle and managed to keep her there and kind of distract where the space was. And we saw then Jenna coming up with a really nice ground ball, and the Wang Rovers just transitioning it now into their circle.
Oh, another beautiful pass in there to Wilson. That is their bread and butter today.
Really working well, and Gracie Reid, we spoke of that she's been interjected into that interleague squad. Young, up and coming, someone new to the Wangaratta Rovers as well, so interested to see what else she can give to this team.
The Rovers claw back the margin to 2 goals at 6-8 on the Cavalier home scoreboard with about 5 minutes to go in this first quarter on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
And an unfortunate whistle call there that had all the timing. Michaela Trethowan was a little bit further down the court, but the Wang Rovers looking to bring it down nice and smooth into Sammy Krelsham just outside of the circle.
So a 2-on-1 with Wilson means the ball's a little harder to get in, but she'll settle here and go for a mid-range shot. Can't finish it, but a great rebound there from Krelsham. I'm telling you, Reid, the improvement from last week from these two girls is just enormous.
Absolutely, and I think I said last week I was surprised that Sammy didn't start in the goal shooting circle, and I think this combination, as we see, has already grown in those 3 quarters that they worked in there last week, and Kelsey's confidence is obviously up as well.
So Krelsham works it in, but a great hand there from Grinter makes it a little bit harder. She'll go long. And again, Leslie's getting a hand on it, but she can't just quite pull it in afterwards.
And I think that's the defensive pressure of the Wang girls underneath that circle. So, yes, Kylie, one of her strengths is kind of that tap out, particularly when she's playing against a goaler that is taller than her, so tapping it out. But there wasn't a Yarrawonga Pigeon to tap that ball to in that instance. So well done to the Rovers girls.
Scores are level at 8 apiece on O&M Live Netball. That's on the Cavalier home scoreboard. And of course, O&M Live Netball proudly brought to you by McRae Motors, proud sponsors of the SSNA Ovens and Murray, and us here on O&M Live.
So the Rovers again, really nice play from them. They'll be looking to finish off this first Urban Greys quarter, even with Yarrawonga, to set them up for the rest of the game. So here's Kelsey Wilson. Another goal for her.
And a great passage of play from defence right through to their attack. And they were really patient. It looked like they were a little bit congested down in the defensive goal third, but managed to just take an extra pass to create the space for Maddie Reid to drive forward into.
And a big opportunity here, Ree, for, of course, the Rovers to start increasing that margin going into the quarter-time break.
Yeah, which is always important, and I mean a strong and contested first quarter is what we like to see, but hopefully they can really back it up in that second quarter as well and really push the Pigeons to have to make a couple of changes on court. 12
and a half minutes gone on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. First quarter action on O&M Live. Thanks to Urban Greys.
So Allen lines up for another shot, sinks that beautifully to keep them in the mix. And it'll be the Yarrawonga Pigeons centre pass with Irvine.
And a better setup there from Jetta Nolan. She started off the line to make sure that she didn't get called for that breaking call, because Michaela Trethowan was just putting all the pressure on her. So she started a little bit deeper, which actually gave her then that second option to go straight to the ring and hit the top of the circle, which we see her feed beautifully into Maddie Allen.
Another great rebound there from the Rovers ladies.
nearly a hospital pass, but a great pull-in by Janelle Mills. They're always a little bit scary when you're on the receiving end.
A hospital pass, Ree, what is that?
Just one where the player that's receiving the ball could end up in hospital if someone takes them out. That's a nice little netball term.
I haven't heard that one before. So the Rovers, Wilson, she's out wide. Again, just looking for that player to take the front space. We did say they are a shorter team, so that front space is so integral to them.
Yeah, and a great defensive effort here from the Yarrawonga Pigeons in the circle, making it really hard for Maddie Reid to work out where to feed to. I think she did have an option on the centre third line, so she might need to take that next time and just reset, let the Rovers girls get front position to bring it in again, as we see Casa nail a beautiful shot just a bit before quarter time.
O&M Live netball, thanks to McRae Motors. First quarter action on O&M Live for Urban Greys. It's the Pigeons and the Rovers. And it's 10-all as we head towards the quarter time break.
A really great defensive effort from the Rovers so far this first Urban Greys quarter. You can see McLeod stands out of play, but a great little hand there from Mills as well. Another
3D lanes highlight of the day. She really got in and under the ball there and managed to move her body so she wasn't creating the contact call against a really strong holding Bridget Casa.
Beautiful little 1-2 there from Allen. That's a classic goal attack throw-in move and a great shot to finish it off.
So we're just under 30 seconds to go. Yarrawonga hit the lead by 1 goal, 11-10 on the Cavalier home scoreboard, and this has been a really exciting first quarter.
Yeah, definitely, and great for the Rovers girls. I think this is a really confident start, and I think we spoke last week in that first quarter. We thought they had probably about the same amount of ball as the Lavington girls did, but they just couldn't convert. As we see Kelsey Wilson drop out of court again then, but managed to get the ball in. So great start from the Rovers.
Quarter time on O&M Live. The Pigeons will take a 1-goal lead into this first quarter break. Plenty more to come on the other side of this commercial break. You're listening and watching to O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
How many subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport? And one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball. The second quarter, thanks to Urban Greys, has just got underway, and the scores is 11-10, favouring Yarrawonga. You've got Gus McLeod, Hannah Davies, and Reed Dollar-Henty with you on O&M Live Netball, the Rovers and the Pigeons. And if the first quarter's anything to what this game's going to build into, we've got an absolute cracker.
Yeah, and Gus, just to correct you there, they haven't changed the scoreboard. Wangaratta Rovers actually got a really nice goal off some defensive pressure by Jenna McLeod, getting a nice turnover just as soon as the whistle blew. So really nice settle there for the Wangaratta Rovers, as we spoke about, a really nice intense first quarter from them. So let's see if they can hold it for this second quarter.
I'm glad you've got your eye on the game, Ree, and not me, as Yarrawonga will try and have another a chance on a bit of attacking play, Hannah.
I think Yarrawonga might be having some words to the opposition scorer if they do that again. But yeah, a beautiful feed in there from Abby Jones. We've just seen her take the court in wing attack. So only the one change for Yarrawonga. I think that's a smart decision. Bit of fresh legs, bit of spice to the game, but nothing that's too crazy because they are within the game.
Yeah, and I think the likes of Laura Irvine, Abby Jones and Bridget Cassar have played a lot of netball together. So Maddie Allen will be the only kind of newish player in there. So I think the feeds in might just be a little bit more precise, and that's what they're looking for in a few of those 1%ers as well.
So the Rovers, Simpson takes this centre. Reed comes out, but the ball just goes stray. So Leslie, an easy pick up for her. And Yarrawonga, a very quick transition. McLeod was probably lucky not to get the contact on that one.
Yeah, I think she retreated early enough though, and she didn't cause Bridget to be off balance either. So nice to see the umpires letting the contested play occur, as we see Bridget Cassar getting the opportunity with both defenders out to have another shot at goal.
A great finish from her. So Yarrawonga continue this little streak here. The Rovers, if they want to stay within though, really need to do something. Let's see if it can come from Trithowen, who's been really good so far.
And there's that 1-2 between Abby Jones and Bridget Cassar. They've played a lot together in goal attack, goal shooter, so they just know each other really well. Credit to Abby Jones then. She took Michaela Trithowen out wide, hit the top of the circle, beautiful feed in, and we see it finish with a Pigeons goal.
On a really strong start for Yarrawonga. They move to 16 to the Rovers 10. And that's on the Cavalier Homes scoreboard. The Rovers and the Pigeons on O&M Live, thanks to McRae Motors.
So Reed goes into Crelcham. And a mid-range shot here for her. And a beautiful sealer there to get them back in the game.
And great work from Maddie Reed. I think she had 3 of the 6 passes that were there. So great workload from her. And I'm sure we'll see her dominance on that rings and that circle edge as the game progresses.
Beautiful option there from the Pigeons, Leslie. Just to come out, she could see that Abby Jones had been covered by Trithowen and I think it was Reed. So just nice to have the backup of your defenders there on those centre passes as Cassar gets another one for the Yarrawonga Pigeons.
And a little bit off balance then too, Bridge, but a really nice tussle forming between Jenna McLeod and Bridget Cassar. So I think it'll be who can get that positioning right, particularly as a defender as we start to get tired. A few of those little cracks can come in, but hopefully Jenna can really keep that fitness in there and play a really clean game and stay involved.
The one thing I am noticing though from the Rovers shooters is there is a lot of movement, and my one concern is that will they be able to keep that movement and agility and speed up for the full 60? I think the one benefit of a holding shooter is that they generally don't fatigue, whereas a moving shooter, if you're playing the whole game, particularly against the Yarrawonga girls in Grunter and Leslie, you could get a little tired towards the later parts of the game.
Absolutely, and I think time will tell for that one. Obviously, the Rovers have started strong again this quarter with a nice little pick-up off a Yarrawonga Pigeons tip in the defensive end for them. So looking for a nice ball in and a conversion here from Kelsey Wilson would be great.
So we got the nice ball in, and there's the conversion from Wilson. Very well said, Ree. So the Rovers just staying in this fight with the centre pass here.
And unfortunate, that's one of those 1%ers. We don't like that breaking call as a defender. You do if it's your opposition player, but particularly on your defensive centre pass, it just brings them that little bit closer to their attacking third.
So Allen to Irvine, and she'll just flick it over to Casa there. Beautiful movement from the shooter. A little fake, and she goes again for the Pigeons. So they're really, both teams staying really even in this quarter, but the Pigeons just holding on to that lead.
A nice hold by Jenna McLeod. I think what the defenders will need to do is to make sure that they're not giving the Yarrawonga Pigeons a second bite at the cherry, a second shot at goal, particularly with the strength under the ring when rebounding defensively. So I think they'll want to stay in play, give a really big 3 feet and make the shooters try and hold on to the ball for as long as possible and then get in a nice position for rebounds.
So the Rovers are finding the ball in the circle but not close enough that they're confident to take a shot. And there's the held ball there from Simpson. So Pigeons will have another go here.
Much better defensive setup by the Yarrawonga Pigeons in that defensive circle. Grinter and Leslie making the goal attack and goal shooter combo of the Rovers really have to work for the ball, swinging the ball from side to side, and then those shooters really getting fatigued from having to do the work around the arch of the circle.
Beautiful little movement there from Allen as well, just moving that ball until she's comfortable. So the Pigeons, Irvine, the centre, goes to Allen. Allen looks a little lost there. With good help from one of her defenders. A little one to Jones. Simpson gets a good hand on it, but the obstruction's called.
Possibly the offside call. So we see the Pigeons with just a free pass at the top of the circle, looking to work it in to get that shot into the goal.
And beautiful work there from Casa, who's been incredibly accurate under the post today.
Yeah, so far so good, and one of Bridges' strengths too is her pulling in of rebounds if she does miss, but I think last week she put something like 36 of their 65 goals up against Myrtleford, so she'll be looking to put a big number up, but also to really inject Maddie Allen into the game in that goal attack position. Obviously missing Sarah Sanini as her partner in crime in that attacking circle, but Allen at this point in time is really holding her own.
And there's that little 1%er from the Pigeons. You can see they lost the ball, but the eyes are up. They're ready to regain it. The Rovers just a little bit slow to that opportunity. But a good fight here.
Another 3D lanes play of the day. A really great defensive effort there for the Wangaratta Rovers. The girls just gritted that one out and have the ball halfway down court.
So another strong second quarter for the Rovers for Urban Greys. So we can see Simpson looking to find Krelcham. Can't finish it off, but a great rebound from Wilson.
Under a little bit of pressure, but yeah, really great pull in, and well done again for her unbalanced to get that ball to Sammy Krelcham, and Sammy converting another nice goal there for the Wangaratta Rovers.
It's a 5-goal margin, or a 6-goal margin, I should say, favouring the Pigeons. O&M Live netball, second quarter action for Urban Greys.
And defensive effort there by Jenna McLeod, supported by Janelle Mills. They're really working well in that combination, but again, the ball probably needed to have a little bit more height into Bridget, but Jenna doing a great job getting her hand around and to get that little tip off the ball.
And the Rovers convert, which is exactly what Coach Joe Creswell would want to see. I think it's something they did struggle with last week, but you can tell they've been down at the hoops throughout the week because they're going in.
And really capitalising on those turnovers, I think, as a defender. And we see another beautiful shot there from Kelsey Wilson. She's really grown in confidence in a week's time. But I think, yeah, as a defender, that can be really deflating when you're doing all this defensive work and unfortunately there's another turnover or the shot isn't capitalised. So great little add and injection into the Rovers game this week.
Another great shot there from Casa. So Pigeon and Rovers, it's going back and forth in this second quarter for Urban Greys.
What I like about the Rovers too, Yarrawonga got to a little bit of a kind of 5-6 goal buffer there, but they've managed to keep it to this 4 goals, which is only 2 turnovers. So we hope to see this margin either stay at this or decrease, because then it means we're going goal for goal, and really that's the intensity shining. And a great long range shot there.
It was, and even though she got the shot, you can see Wilson, she's going for that rebound just in case. I think that's something else that they probably lacked last week. Obviously, Lavington's defence last week were incredible, but, you know, just even giving yourself the chance to get that rebound is the first step. And a great pass in there to Casa from Irvine.
Pinpoint accuracy, but great defensive pressure, and notably Janelle Mills and Jenna McLeod then came off the goal attacking Maddie Allen to have a 2-on-1 against Bridget and really put the pressure on. And Janelle Mills keeping her eyes up to see where Maddie Allen is coming into that circle to then go back to that one-on-one play.
Reid Olahenty's expert comments on O&M Live. Thanks to Insight Injury Clinic as the Rovers bring the margin back to just 5 goals.
So Pigeons looking to move down, goes to Jones. Jones to Irvine. Just trying to work it in to where Cass is comfortable under the post. And she slots another one in for the Pigeons.
We're not taking any percentage or shooting stats, sorry, but Bridget Cass has been superb. I don't think she's missed anything today.
Yeah, maybe a couple on penalty shots and things, but they don't get noted as stats, so she'll be happy with that. And yeah, that's just the dominance that she has in that circle. And because they can get it to her so close to the ring as well, that's her bread and butter. That's where she likes it. Abby Jones has been sensational in wing attack too. We haven't seen probably Michaela Trethowan with the ball as much, so Abby's really quietened her down. So look to see how that tussle continues to evolve.
And I think as a shooter, if you are someone that wants to shoot it under the post, then you have to have the ability to get it under the post. And she is doing exactly that. You can see her holding now, and just a beautiful little movement there from the Pigeons. Good hands there from Trethowan, so it's a Pigeons throw in here in the circle. Allen goes to Jones. I think that's her signature move there for a shooter throw-in.
Yep, beautiful. And Janelle Mills doing a really great job then too to make sure that she had a really nice big 3 to put pressure over the shot, but also coming within reach of Bridget Cassar as well to make sure that that short little pass didn't go in and over, and a nice goal from Maddie Allen.
The scoreboard attendants having a bit of trouble keeping up the score here. We're under the impression it's 20-25, but we'll see how we go. It's favouring the Yarrawonga Pigeons. Second quarter action on O&M Live Netball for Urban Greys with Hannah Davies and Reid Olahenty.
And a footwork call there for Laura Irvine, so uncharacteristic for her. Another one of those little 1%ers, but sister Annalise has just taken a beautiful flying pass there through the goal third off the ball, which is a lovely goalkeeper play. As we see the Wangaratta Rovers putting up a great defensive effort to make sure that that ball has spilled over court, now working to transition it down to their goal end.
So the Rovers will set up here, the obstruction against Jones. Trethowan again coming out, looking a little bit stuck. Just need those options to present. And there's Simpson. And just a stray pass there.
And again, that pass going behind the player. What we want in netball at any time is that ball to go in front, outstretched hands, not behind. And that's just one of those little timing errors that perhaps just a little bit slow to release the ball.
And another great shot there from Casa as she continues her very accurate streak here for the Pigeons. Pigeons just holding this lead here, but the Rovers certainly looking ready for an intercept at any moment almost. You can see Wilson there.
And well done to the Rovers girls then. Unlucky there from Janelle Mills. That could have gone either way. I think she really put the pressure on, but a little contact call, maybe just holding the bottom of Maddie Allen's hip as she was running through.
A great hand there from McLeod.
That may just be one of our 3D lanes highlights of the day, with the ball spilling out of court again, and a great defensive effort here again from the Rovers girls.
I think for the Rovers defence, probably just need to be extra ready in case someone like McLeod does get a hand to it. She's probably not able to pull it in. Obviously, Casa is such a strong holder, but even if you can get a hand on it and someone like Trethowan or Simpson's just ready on the circle, could be a turnover very easily.
As Yarrawonga convert another one, they lead by 6 goals on the Cavalier home scoreboard. We're only minutes away from the half-time break. The Rovers would love one heading into half-time, rebuild some momentum.
Yeah, definitely. And Bryony Simpson's doing a mountain of work in that centre position, finished by a really beautiful goal from Sammy Krelsham. She has been really dominant and calm in that circle for them. But I think Bryony's effort, both in attack and defence, has been nearly like a quiet achiever kind of role. She's just chipping away at Laura Irvine and finding some space down there. As we see Laura Irvine with great hands over just directly on that call.
So the Pigeons, Leslie goes to Allen, it seems. Probably was meant for Jones, but the pass went a little bit over. But good work from the Pigeons to just be ready for anything. Probably should have gone to Casa there, but there's the hooter.
The siren sounds for half-time, of course. A cracking game of netball here between the Pigeons and the Rovers. It's 21-26 favouring Yarrawonga, and we'll be back on the other side of the break. You're watching O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
How many subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport? And one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
Maybe we could just, note again the players from here that are doing well.
Go down is we touch on the Yarrawonga players and the Rovers players.
Yeah. Sammy, Grace Reed,
Laura and Tilly.
Tilly is away.
Yeah.
Question for you, Hannah.
Yeah.
When you say Contest here between the Rovers of Wangaratta and the Pigeons of Yarrawonga. Gus McLeod, Hannah Davies and Marie Dollar-Henty with you on O&M Live. Third quarter action coming up thanks to Martin's Travel Group in Albury. We've got a really good game of netball in our hands.
This is a cracking game under cracking conditions, and we can see that between both teams, again, just like at the end of the first quarter, there's only been one change on court, and that's Courtney Hillier coming into centre for the Wangaratta Rovers. We were speaking that Bryony Simpson was doing a great job in that centre role, so whether or not it's just a matter of resting some legs so she can be come back in with a lot of gusto and intensity as the Wangaratta Rover girls, have brought to this game thus far.
And we've seen a couple of changes from the home side. Hannah, Courtney Hillier, the B grade coach, has made her way onto the court for the Rovers.
Yes, she is. We can see that she's already making an impact there on that centre circle, but the ball just goes out. So the Pigeons just move the ball down. Laura Jones was a great injection for their team in that second quarter. And it's definitely helped them get a little bit of a lead, which will just put some scoreboard pressure on the Rovers, which is something I do feel affects them. I think last week you could definitely tell as the game went on and Lavington's score grew and theirs didn't as much, that it definitely had an impact on the side. So for the Rovers, I think staying in the scoreboard and staying in the fight is really important to them.
And that's a disappointing, as we see Janelle Mills really trying to get that ball back, but that was really disappointing that the Rovers girls couldn't convert a goal then, because Michaela Trethowan had done an exceptional effort to get the ball on the circle edge. She found the space just in front of Abby Jones to get the ball and then did 3-2-1 transition coming down the court. So she had every second pass, so she did the really double play well. What I think that they need to do with Michaela, she's tending to get the ball behind her, so they need to release it out in front because she is really quick and she does actually have a really good vertical jump as well, so she can get up in the air a little bit. But another little turnover here, so the Wangaratta Rovers, if they can get it into their circle nice and quickly, we could see some more scoreboard pressure from them.
So a stray pass there from Krelsham.
Right idea, and just Kelsey Wilson had her eyes down, so that was perfect play. There was plenty of space for that ball to go into, but just a matter of that eyes down for that 1 second.
So the Pigeons move it down really nicely again. And a beautiful front option there from Casa. And like we said last quarter, she just knows exactly where she wants to shoot it, and she's really capable of passing it around until she gets there. She's not going to take a mid-range or a long-range shot that she probably doesn't know she's going to get. And I think that's a massive strength in a goal shooter, is knowing your range and being able to find it on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably one thing. If the Rovers girls can actually push Casa to get the ball that bit out further, we know that she probably more often than not won't take the shot. So to really pressure her a little bit further out and to take some of those long range shots. It's nice to see Laura Ryan in that wing defence role. Again, she's kind of been a little bit of a quieter player on court, but she's starting to find some space, transitioning the ball down and well supporting Kylie Leslie then as she becomes off balance to transition the ball after a great defensive effort.
And I don't know if it's just me, Ree, but Kylie Leslie gives me really big Carla Pretorius vibes. Just the long hands that come out of nowhere.
She is an absolute superstar, athletic, a couple of kids and a couple of 100 games under her belt for the Yarrawonga Pigeons. She is a star and loves that off-the-ball pressure.
Turn my microphone on, and of course the Leslie name synonymous with the Pigeons. Xavier Leslie playing in the twos today for the football, racked up 300 games in the O&M last year. If you just joined the O&M live broadcast, it's the Rovers 21 and Yarrawonga bring up 30. That's on the Martin's Travel Group Albury scoreboard. Here's Hannah Davies on O&M live.
So the Rovers just slipping out of the race a little bit. Courtney Hillier, sorry, I almost said Sky Hillier.
The cousin?
Yeah, it looks to be a little bit controlled by Irvine in that centre. We know Irvine is so strong. Again, interesting to see Simpson come off. I'll be really intrigued to see whether Jo Cresswell keeps that combination or mixes it up again.
Yeah, and another really well-held goal there from Sammy Krelsheim. She's been really strong in that goal-shooting circle against a really strong defender in Annalise Grinter, as we see the Rovers getting a little touch on the ball, but Jenna McLeod coming out of play and Maddie Allen finding the space here to take the penalty shot.
And a miss there, really nicely covered by the Rovers. Actually blocked Casa out of that rebound completely and just let it trickle out. So McLeod, the 100 gamer.
Good surname.
What was it? But spelt
Spelling, yeah, hers is spelt wrong.
incorrectly.
Yeah, without an A.
I'm sure we'll let her know that after the game, Gus. So the Rovers, they've got a shot here. It's looking really nice. Wilson just needs to find that forward space.
Gracie Reid probably a little bit quieter in that second quarter, but she's really finding the circle here, and that was a great play by her to get onto the circle and apply that attacking finesse that we saw a lot of last week.
So 22-30.
Great contest there, and unfortunately for Kylie Leslie, Kelsey Wilson just had two hands on the ball, great pull-in and finished with a beautiful goal.
Make that 23-30 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard, favouring Yarrawonga, and the game's really ebbed and flowed. As soon as Yarrawonga get on a bit of a roll, the Pigeons find a way to get back into the contest and vice versa with the Rovers.
And particularly with 3D lanes, highlight of the day, a beautiful hands over pressure there from Laura Irvine. Again, one of the most agile people in our competition. She just loves that flight of the ball, and her fitness is one of her key strengths. I think with this game here, it just blew out to 9 goals, but it didn't feel like 9 goals, and I think that sometimes a game of netball, all of a sudden it can be 4 goals. If there's another turnover, it leads into that 6 and 7. But credit to the Rovers girls for pinning it back here, and they'll be looking to convert and really get within that 5-6 goal margin, because that's something that you can peg back with a couple of turnovers.
And you're right, Ree, and this ball right now is important to the Rovers. They need to keep putting goals in the hoop if they want to stay in this game. That ball is way too risky for the position in the game that they're in right now.
Absolutely, and when you've got shorter shooters as well, the ball, and another 3D lanes highlight of the day there from Jenna McLeod. That is a really token goalkeeper play coming off the ball, out of the circle. We love to see it. But yes, what the Rovers girls need to do is to make sure that they are feeding from the circle edge. Their goal shooters don't have a lot of height in there, so the ball needs to be precision to, if they're going to put it over, get over the hands of Kylie Leslie and Annalise Grinter, who love a floaty ball in the air.
And I think Wilson is just struggling to come forward. She's got Grinter on her in the circle often, and between the two of them and Leslie, they're really just holding them back. But, as a goal attack, with a shorter goal shooter, you can't really hold in the circle. You need to keep moving. You need to keep presenting for opportunities. Even if you don't get the first, you need to make the second, just like that. A beautiful little drop there from Wilson and a great shot to finish.
Yeah, well said, and really nice from Wilson too. She didn't put her head down there where she was in a little bit of a rut movement-wise. She couldn't find the space, and then credit to Sammy Krolsham moving beautifully to create some more back space for her to drop into.
24-30, favouring Yarrawonga on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard. Third quarter action here on O&M Live. We're about 7.5 minutes into the third quarter on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock as Yarrawonga score once again.
And it's been another really close second quarter for Martins Travel Group Albury. I think at the start of the game we suspected the Pigeons would get up, but I think the Rovers have done really well in staying within the contest.
And I think too, minimal changes has helped with that. They've really made this 7, even with the injection of Courtney Hillier, just that little bit calmer. People can get used to the intensity of the game and how the game's moving. And another really beautiful shot from Kelsey Wilson, obviously growing in confidence a lot since last week's game.
And when you chat about making less changes, Rhea, I think you're exactly right. And something I've noticed throughout all the games we've had so far this season is that the teams that are winning are the teams that can put on a 7 and they can last that 60 minutes. Some of the lower teams that aren't quite there yet are moving around using their bench. This time of the season probably doesn't matter too much, but it's just something to note, really.
Yeah, and a definite 7 really helps too in terms of systems and things like that. And I think for the Wangaratta Rovers girls, they've got a lot of new girls to the club this year, so trying to find their place, whether it be in the CB or A grade, and which combinations work best, which we're seeing a really great defensive effort from Janelle Mills down in their defensive end. They transitioned it beautifully to another goal, but we've seen both shooters out of the circle, and Kelsey Wilson, knowing that she needed to go in there, is a 3D lanes highlight of the day. Unfortunately, not finished off with a goal, but an excellent passage of play from her. The change in pace then for her to hit the circle well was really great.
I'll take the blame for that. Commentator's curse on O&M Live. 26-31, favouring Yarrawonga on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard. The Rovers would love one or two more before three-quarter time.
And interesting, we just see a little quick change over there in the wing attack position. Abby Jones transitioning off the court for Jetta Nolan to come in on that wing attack role. So it'll be interesting to see how that matchup between Trethowan and Nolan plays out. I think Michaela really outplayed Jetta in that first quarter, but she's had a bit of a chance to sit down, have a watch, see what's happening, and hopefully find a bit of better timing and great drives to the top of the circle.
And it is unusual that we see a player come on during the quarter, Ree. What's the ruling around that? Do they have to wait? Is it like a super netball rolling sub?
Not quite. It's just an injury in injury time. So the player that calls the injury time has to be replaced. So it's a straight swap over unless it's a really serious injury where the game has to stop. But yeah, straight swap over with the person that is injured. But both teams have the opportunity to play to make changes to their other personnel as well.
And look, be honest with you, Reed. Do coaches take advantage of that? Do they ever go, she's not playing well, mate, your finger's sore, get off?
Look,
finger.
It has changed, and I think we are seeing it evolve to that. And also just to rest a few players. I think that's probably what they've done. They've given Jetta Nolan a bit of time to rest, to have a look at how the game's going, so that for the rest of this quarter and perhaps next quarter, she knows what her role is. And likewise with Abby, it might just be a matter of sitting down, watching for the rest of this quarter, and then determining who's going to go in that wing attack position.
4 minutes to go in the third quarter on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. 26-33 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard, favouring Yarrawonga as the Rovers bring it into their attacking third.
And well done, Kelsey Wilson, really finding the space there in front of Leslie. And as we see Kylie Leslie falling out of court for a 3D lanes highlight of the day, getting that ball into defensive duo with Grinter, really great. But great confidence coming from the Rovers girls, and really good for them to not let this lead blow out yet. But if they could peg it back one or two, we'd see a really contested fourth quarter, and another lovely shot from Maddie Allen sealing another goal to bring the score there to 34-26 in favour of the Yarrawonga Pigeons.
So the ball just a little bit too quick there for Casa, and goal shooter just couldn't get the hands around it. So the Rovers have another opportunity. It's been another strong quarter from them. The third quarter for Martins Travel Group Albury.
And there's that hospital pass as well. But credit to Laura Ryan. She was off the line, what we call offline defending. So she came through and really got in the perfect position for that ball. Another 3D lanes highlight of the day.
It's going to be incredibly hard to pick a player of the day today, Ree. There is just so many highlights coming at us constantly.
And I think too, everyone's doing their role really well today. Positional, all the matchups have been great, but everyone's playing their role really nicely. And great to see Courtney Hillier really trying to hold her own here. Laura Irvine's such an experienced player as well, but Courtney doesn't seem fazed by that. I'd like to see her come onto the body and off again, but to find the front position rather than the back space in order to have a little bit more view in front of her.
I think she's come off a full B grade game as well, Lee, which is a remarkable effort to back it up at this standard of netball.
Definitely, and we see the Wang Rovers finish off a beautiful passage of play there, a really nicely weighted bounce pass by Sammy Krelsham. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a coach's nightmare, particularly if they don't come off, but in that instance, Jo Creswell will be really, really happy.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Ree. I think you got to risk it for the biscuit a little bit. Like, when it pulls off, it looks amazing, but when it doesn't, it's the coach is like, oh, wish they hadn't done that. But it's worked for the girls this time.
See Jenna McLeod and Bridget Casa matching up beautifully and physically there, both kind of giving and taking. And what I like is that the umpires have just let that play out. No one's giving anyone an elbow or anything like that. It's just really two strong bodies holding their own.
27-36, so the Pigeons just starting to increase their margin here on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard.
And that is a really, really lovely feed from Michaela Trethowan off the transverse line. She obviously can't come into this goaling third, but great timing of the ball out in stretch hand in front of the defenders. Saw probably the defenders' eyes down, and Sammy Krelsham with all the space and a lovely goal to finish.
It's probably the most exciting stat to get as a wing defence, as a goal assist. You don't see it often, but boy, does it feel good and look good.
Again, another one that a coach hates if they don't come off. I've been on the back end of a couple of those in goal defence and wing defence in my time.
So we've got about under a minute to go on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. And the Rovers would love one here just before the break.
I was just going to say, an opportunity here with Kylie Leslie out of play right up at the third line. Gives a nice 2-on-1 for the shooters and a really nice conversion there. So a nice little settler getting closer to this three-quarter time.
So the Pigeons looking really sharp as they soon head into their final quarter. Looking to make it 3 wins from 4. They've got the 1 loss against Lavington, who I've said are my dark horse for premiership contention. And
I wouldn't say it's a dark horse anymore, Hannah. They're right amongst the top ends.
And unfortunate there, Gracie Reid, we spoke about her injection into the interleague squad. Just a little breaking call, so she'll want to not give those away, particularly as we get a couple of goals closer, but with this really competitive edge in this game. And a nice finish again by Sammy Krelsham. I think she's leaning towards being a real steady head in that goal shooting position for them moving forward.
I would love to see her in goal attack as well. Obviously, she is in that squad. Goal shooter is such a competitive position, so perhaps the move to goal attack could get us some more court time. Not sure.
It's an 8-goal lead to the Pigeons as we head into the final break. You're watching and listening to O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere, and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton 0. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
How many subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport? And one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it. Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
I didn't say anything.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball. Great to have your company streaming right across the globe. Gus McLeod, Hannah Davies and Reed Dollar-Henty with you. Fourth quarter action thanks to Martin's Travel Group in Albury as the Rovers kickstart the fourth.
A little bit of mix-up in timing there, so I've been getting grilled by the Yarra girls that I'm friends with, but look, I'll take it on the chin, and unfortunately for the Rovers girls, they've turned the ball over really quickly, and the ball, well played again there by Michaela Trethowan. She's been so athletic all day. Ball spilling out of court, but the Pigeons here with the turnover play looking to convert.
So the Rovers down by 8, Ree. As a player, is that enough that you're in contention?
Yeah, definitely. That's just 4 turnovers, which 4 converted turnovers, that is, to get you back and then converting your own centres on top of that. So it is a bit asked, but it has been done before. Anything more, I think, will be hard for the Rovers girls to keep in touch. Definitely think they'll be looking to keep the intensity, and I think for them, if they could decrease the lead, definitely they'd be ecstatic. But if they can stay with the Pigeons for this last quarter and not let it extend out, they'll be really happy, because it means that they've really contested hard for the 4-quarter effort.
And there's Jetta Nolan in wing attack, so she's stayed on in that position with Jones taking the bench. Unsure if there's an injury or we're just resting the legs there. And for the Rovers, only one change for them, and that is Reed into centre and Hillier into wing attack. I think that could be a really good move for the Rovers, though, because Reed is one of the fastest players on court, and she does definitely bring that intensity in her play.
Yeah, and it might just be that matchup between Reed and Irvine in that centre for that dynamic aspect, as we see Casa getting her own rebound and converting another goal for Yarrawonga, taking the score to 40-30.
So Sammy Krelcham moving out again, has to go back to the defence on that transverse line. And looking a little bit stuck there, but luckily there's been a call here against Irvine. And a great drive from Wilson. She has been really, really reliable today. I'm hoping she can get this shot so it makes me look better, but she's been great in that goal attack position today, particularly for those who watched the game last week, and you can just see an enormous amount of growth in 1 week. It's quite incredible.
Could be playing on the home court advantage, but yeah, she's just looking really confident. And I don't know, that's probably Sammy Krelsham too, bringing out that confidence in her. She's been really dynamic in that circle, holding her position, leaving the circle open for Wilson to come into, as we see a great defensive rebound there from the Rovers, unfortunately not able to grasp 2 hands on it, and a lovely mid-range shot for Allen, converting, bringing the Yarrawonga Pigeons a 10-goal lead, 41-31, in honour of the X-Ray group.
So 10-goal lead, Rhea, I believe that was your call. Mine was 15 and we had Gus at 14, so I think any of us could be in that range right now, but I don't know, if Wilson keeps shooting like that, we could all be wrong.
And a really nice move then. She saw all the space behind her. Grinter and Leslie both pinned on Sammy Krelsham, having her in their sights, and left the space wide open in the back for her.
And a great shot there from Allen. Double defence there from both the Rovers ladies.
And a little bit of a contact coming down with the defensive pressure. So really nice for her to see her settle into that goal attack position. And it'll be interesting as the season progresses what her role is once Sarah Sanini is back fit and ready to play, how they play that and move that circle. Sarah Sanini, we know, over 300 games played in the Ovens and Murray League, a stalwart at Lavington Panthers, really cemented herself in the circle with Bridget Casa as well, and to have Maddie Allen being able to swing in there, how they utilise that will be interesting moving forward.
So Irvine goes out to Nolan. She's had a cracking performance today. Just one of those quiet workers that just chips away, is always there, as you can see, ready for the ball, always, shall I say, here if you need.
One of Netball's great cliches, and I think to Nolan's credit as well, what she did, she had a little bit of time sitting, watching, and she's come and she's really worked out Michaela Trethowan and certainly quietened her defensive impact somewhat.
And that's a really good coaching tactic from Irvine, is that some players, I'm sure you know, Reed, just respond better to having a little bit of a spell and watching what's happening on court and then coming out ready to react to that. Sometimes it is a bit hard to react when you're in the moment, intensity's high, there's a lot of pressure. Have you, in your own play, Reed, was that something that helped you?
Yeah, definitely. Depending, absolutely. Scoreline, what the circumstances were. There were a couple of instances where we made just a couple of quick changes, purely so people could watch and see. And I think as we see this scoreline now seeming to increase, with Wilson bringing it back to just 10 goals, the Yarrawonga Pigeons lead 44-34 in honour of the X-ray group. But yeah, we might see a few more of those changes happening, definitely, particularly as the score increases. But Jetta Nolan, she's really finding the circle edge now and doing some beautiful feeds into Bridget Cassar, finding a little bit of better timing.
And a mid-range shot here from Cassar. Falls short though, and Jenna McLeod, who's had a cracking 100th game, pulls in that rebound.
And just the Rovers, that girls there standing still, waiting for someone else to come to the ball. And that's probably as we're getting further into this game, closing down in this fourth quarter, that they won't be wanting anyone to stand still. They really want to bring the intensity through with a really nice play there from Annalise Grinter. Intercept to intercept, great turnover, great defensive pressure from the young goal attacking Kelsey Wilson. Seeing the Rovers girls with the opportunity of a goal with probably a contact here off the ball.
And the ball just falls short, so tough work for the umpire to work out who that came off last.
I think Kylie Leslie was a little bit disappointed in herself then not being able to grasp that. Those ones tend to happen to us defenders a little bit.
And a beautiful little pass over to Wilson, who's had a really great outing for the young gun. And a beautiful shot to finish it off. So the Pigeons, have drawn away a little bit, but I think the Rovers are certainly building to their first win. Obviously, the Pigeons are one of those top 4, top 5 teams. So I think for the Rovers to come out and bring this kind of competitiveness, perhaps not in this last quarter, but certainly for the first 3, keeps them in good stead for a win very soon.
Yeah, and a great defensive pressure there from the Rovers girls. They just really confused the space of the Pigeons and made it so that the ball has trickled over, right over our tent, right over all of our heads. But really great to see them really confuse the space and force the long ball over everyone's hands.
So Wilson to Hillier. And the Rovers fire that pass into Wilson. I don't know how, but it made it.
Yeah, it through the hands of Leslie. So another little disappointing. Personally, they're the worst ones when you've got it and then it just slips through. So really well done for Kelsey Wilson, though. Great showing from her today. And another 3D Lanes highlight of the day. Shooter to shooter from just inside that goal third into an open circle. Really nice from the Rovers girls.
Can definitely tell that you were a former defender, Ree. You seem to sympathise with the defenders when the shooters are doing well. Me as a shooter, though, just all about that stardom in there.
Look, and I've got a lot of time for these beautiful shooters as well, particularly when they're on, and as a defender, there's nothing you can do about it.
Speaking of defenders, Jenna McLeod takes the throw in, goes to Mills. They've been a really formidable combo today. But again, the Rovers, good work from Michaela Trethowen to find space, but it needs to be that front drive. You can see Sammy Kretzheim, when she made the front drive, it works. And then Wilson with that signature little pullback.
And a really great option for Reid to take then, because the front pass that was right in front of it was probably a little bit too heavily defended. So to make that decision last minute, just to put it up into space for Kelsey Reid to get, really fantastic from the youngster. We see this one trickle over the edge just a little bit too big, and now the Pigeons having the opportunity to increase their score margin.
38-44 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard, favouring the Pigeons on O&M Live Netball, thanks to McRae Motors.
And it's been a really strong fourth quarter for the Pigeons. I think they've shown that they're able to bring 4 quarters of really high-level netball. And, you know, Ray, you said earlier that combined they've got over 1,000 games of O&M netball, and it's certainly showing as the game progresses.
Yeah, and just even their newbies in the likes of Maddie Allen and Laura Ryan, they've seemed to really fit into this team. You don't notice that they haven't been a part of it either. So that's great. And I'm not sure how many seasons Laura had at Tatura, but I'm sure in her playing experience as well, she's been a part of teams where where that is the case as well. So really nice to have a steady head there, and someone who has been named in that interleague squad, and so will be interesting to see. I'm not sure if she played interleague in the GV, but interesting to see what her experience is like. Has she played both?
So Jenna McLeod for the Rovers takes a throw in as we near the end of the Martins Travel Group Albury fourth quarter. Big hands there from the Pigeons ladies, but Irvine called out of play.
And good luck for you two trying to pick our Urban Greys player of the day today. There's about 14 contenders potentially across the court.
Oh, and we just see the ball spill over court. Yeah, and we were talking in the break. I think that everyone on court has really played their role today. I think the matchups have been great, that people have had moments of standing out, but everyone's just really played their role and made the game really tightly contested for the most part.
And usually I think when you have a winning team, your eyes go straight to them for player of the day. But what I've noticed is there's actually a few players in that Rovers side that are catching my attention almost more, despite not being up on the scoreboard.
A commentator's tip. We might have to lean towards a Pigeon today, unless you've got a really good relationship with a Rover potentially, a chatty one.
Well, here's one. So, not Rovers, but Annalise Grinter, probably one of our contenders for the Urban Greys Player of the Day. Just getting a couple of really great tips off the ball and coming forward into the space to get the intercept, converted beautifully by probably another contender in Bridget Cassar, shooting very accurately today.
38-46 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard, favouring the Pigeons.
So the Rovers are still staying within that 10, which is, I would say, a definite goal for them heading into this game. I think, they've really shown that they can stay within a top 4 team, especially one with that experience. It just takes them to lift a little bit, and I definitely think they've done that today.
And really nice there for Bridget and Alan. Goaler to goaler. 1-2, gave the centre and wing attack in Laura Irvine and Jetta Nolan just a little bit of a breather. And Laura Irvine, definitely a contender for the Urban Greys Player of the Day. Always consistent, athletic, agile, and great for the coach as well.
Definitely is. She is that captain coach role, which we see often in the O&M now. And there's Wilson, nice little long range shot and a beautiful finish for her.
Brings the margin back to 7 goals. So the Rovers playing a really strong fourth quarter on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And Maddie Allen goes to Cassar. Little pass out from Irvine. Just steadies herself. A foot out of court for Cassar there. So McLeod for the Rovers takes the throw in next to the post, looks a little bit stuck, and Jetta Nolan just eats that one up.
Yeah, and McLeod then, she just knew she had to release that ball, otherwise it was going to be a held ball, so she just released it probably into a bit of no man's land, but better than giving the Pigeons the opportunity for a throw in the circle, as we see a little bit of a falcon action here, which sometimes happens in netball.
A beautiful shot there from Cassar just to settle the team after a bit of that madness.
So an 8-goal lead to Yarrawonga. And you ladies have got a very stressful 2 minutes coming up as we edge towards full time to pick our Urban Greys Player of the Day. It's an 8-goal lead to Yarrawonga. Thanks to the X-Ray Group on O&M Live Netball.
And Kylie Leslie, another contender for the Urban Greys Player of the Day. What she does so well in her defensive role is that she knows where everyone is all of the time. So whether or not she's defending one-on-one with her player or the shooter in the goal circle, she's got that real awareness about her, which makes her such a strong defender.
Beautiful little pass off there from Allen to Cassar, who finishes off the shot really nicely.
And the Yarrawonga Pigeons are leading 49-41 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
Little pass in there from Reed. Goes out to Hillier.
Nice feed out into space for Wilson with her settling. Oh, commentator's curse for a really nice rebound.
What a great rebound from her, and that's definitely something she's really improved on this week. It's going for those rebounds. So there's Nolan, goes back to Ryan. And again, Irvine there. She's sort of the middle woman between every pass.
And she could run all day. She's one of the fittest people I've ever met and had the opportunity to play with. And yeah, she can go, and defensively as well, which is such a strength to her game. As we see Alan notch up another goal for the Yarrawonga Pigeons, taking their score 50-42 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And great to see a smile on the face of Alan as well after what's been a really intense game. Could definitely be easy to just kind of get yourself down if things aren't going your way, but they certainly are for the Pigeons.
Leslie bringing the ball down beautifully for the Pigeons, connecting here into the attacking third. Nice little hand there from Michaela Trethowan. She's been influential for this Rovers team all day today.
Interesting move there from Nolan. Just sweeps around the entire circle to get back on court.
Had probably a quicker option than having to go around the circle edge, so clever from her.
As full-time sounds here on O&M Live, Ree and Hannah will digress and pick our Urban Greys anytime. Urban Greys player of the day, I should say, but a cracking finish here to the game, Ree. And there's so many positives to take for this Wangaratta Rovers team. Joe Cresswell and the Rovers will be absolutely thrilled with that performance.
Yeah, I think so. And I think what we saw last week was that they managed to get a bit of a core 7 on court towards the second half of that game. So I was really looking forward to seeing how they could put that out on court. And a credit to them, they really stuck it to the Pigeons for the most part of those 4 quarters, and I don't think perhaps the score reflected just how tight pressure that they put onto the Yarrawonga girls today. Hey Laura, so we've got our Urban Greys Player of the Day, Laura Irvine. Congratulations.
Thanks guys.
Just pop the mic up just a little bit closer. How did you find today's game?
Look, it was really challenging. We knew it would be tough. Rovers are always physical, athletic. They're really strong. They like to play that floating style of netball, and they really they drove really strong at the ball, and they wanted it today as well. So we found them really challenging.
And it was really, really nice to watch. We said that it was really hard to choose because we felt like everyone kind of just played their role. And is that something that you guys have been working towards?
We have, yeah. Unfortunately, we obviously had a few key players out today, so we had to give some younger ones some opportunity and some new players some opportunity, which is good for us going forward as well, just exposing them at this level. So, yeah, it was quite a new side for us as well, so we're still trying to find our groove with that side, I suppose.
Yeah, and nice to see Maddie Allen on the court there. Obviously, Sarah Sanini not available today due to injury. Hopefully it's not too long. But really nice, her combination with Bridge really grew throughout the game.
Yeah.
How are you finding that?
Yeah, we're still adjusting to Mad. She's obviously been available and unavailable as well, so we're just getting used to her playing a different style of netball, which is good. We're sort of used to Bridge and Sayers, which combine really well together, so bringing Mads in as another new combination for us. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Congratulations, Laura, on the win, and to the team, of course. Like we said, it was very hard to pick a player of the day, but hats off to you girls.
No, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations to our Urban Greys Player of the Day, and what a cracking win it was for the Yarrawonga Pigeons, and they'll be really happy with that. A cracking win for them on the road against a really strong up-and-coming Rovers team.
Yeah, I think so, and they'll be really happy because it was a really gritty win, and it was really nice to hear that Laura complimented what we were saying, that it was really tough out there, which is a credit to the Rovers girls, but the Pigeons, just their experience is a real strength to them. But as Laura just alluded to, they've got some new players, so interjecting that in, finding some combinations, and I think we'll see that grow from strength to strength. We spoke about the ability to have Hannah Symes sitting on the bench to be able to come into that team as well, but sitting really well in their B grade team. So I think they can really grow as well, and obviously Sarah Sanini coming back from injury. But like we spoke about with Lavington last week as well, nice for them to have that versatile circle as well.
Yeah, and I think the Rovers really contended today, which just puts the Pigeons in better stead for the rest of the season. They can kind of rest easy knowing that if the score does get a little bit tight, that they're not going to be put off by a bit of scoreboard pressure, and that they can just stay confident in their 7. You know, they didn't make any rash changes. They really just grinded it out and played that 60 minutes, which we've been saying is so important to do.
And and I was just going to say, and I think Jo Creswell, I think we were speaking about this right at the end, but she'll be really, really impressed with the girls' effort today. And I think for Jenna McLeod celebrating that 100th game, the girls really put a performance out there to try and get the win for it. But I think there's some real positives, and I think that 5th position is going to be really, really interesting as this season unfolds.
Look out for the Rovers in the weeks to come. I think that's what we've learned from today's game. Yarrawonga too strong, winning by 8 goals, 50-42 on O&M Live. Hannah Davies, well done to yourself, and we'll look forward to next week.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's been a great cracking game of netball. I think the tightest we've seen so far, and I can't wait for more like that.
Ree. Well done to yourself. Looking forward to next week as well.
Thank you, I am, and it'll be nice. North and Raiders, we haven't seen them before, so two teams that we haven't got to watch yet this year, so really, really looking forward to it.
Of course, you can catch that one from 12 o'clock on 2AY next week or streaming right across the globe on the Ovens and Murray YouTube channel. A big shout out to Trav Cartwright for filming today's game and Luke Chilcott and the team at Wangaratta and Indigo Computers. The Pigeons too strong today on O&M Live Netball, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton 0. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
How many subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport? And one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it. Go where you can live and learn locally. Go where there's industry qualified trainers. Go where students come first. Go for the community. Go for the choice of 120 courses across 11 campuses. Go where there's free TAFE. Go for it with GoTAFE.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NN.